So today's class is going to be on TnS trade management. Basically just going to be giving some trade management tips and tricks and things that can be very, very beneficial for everyone who trades TnS. So TnS, it is overall a profitable model. However, there are quite a bit of losses in the day-to-day scenario. So that's where trade management comes into play, because how can you lock in the most profit even on trades that lose or even on trades that don't run fully to TP? Okay, so I'm going to list out a couple of good tips that you can use. For this, I have tips using no trading experience at all, which means you don't have to have any sort of trading experience at all for the first half of these tricks. And then the second half, there is a bit of trading experience required, a little bit of trading knowledge that goes hand in hand with it. Okay, so for the first half being the no trading experience required section, the first one being moving to break even at 0.5 R. Moving to break even at 0.5 R. If you have a TnS setup, for example, we'll take this loss, for example, actually. Remember, there's a short here with TnS. It was a short right here. It did take a little bit of drawdown. Let's just back up to about right here. 35 point stop, and you target this low, right, for 35. It did start to move down a little bit, right? If you move to break even at 0.5 R, in this case, we have a 35 point stop, 0.5 of that, or half of that, would be basically anywhere from 15 to about 20 points. It doesn't really matter which one you choose. But say you get 15 to 20 points in profit, which this definitely hit, it got 24 points in profit. You can move to break even right then and there. You have every right to move to break even right then and there, which means even as this one comes back on you to lose, a good trick would be moving to break even at half R. Sometimes it helps you, sometimes it hurts you. It's only if you're feeling uncomfortable. It's for the people that aren't feeling too confident in this model. If you don't want to take a full 35 point loss, these are the tips that are going to help you. If, say, you're already in drawdown, you're like, man, I just want to get back break even. I just want this to be a free trade already. That's what this is for you. This is for you. Okay, so if you're in drawdown, before it got in profit, it actually was 26 points in drawdown. Okay, which means that you're maybe stressing a bit. You're like thinking, okay, man, this might not work. But then it starts moving back in profit. You can move to break even at 15 to 20 points just because you got half R. That's perfect. That's a good way to lock in something. Or what you could do, you can move to break even or lock in profits at 1 to 2R. Now, for this example, it actually did not reach 1R because 1R is basically the TP itself. It's about 36 points for the TP here. So we'll actually go to a different example for this one. We'll use this trade, the one right before it. So what do we have? We had this low that overlaps with this FEG. That's a valid TnS short. Let's make sure that it's 3 points away from the edge. It is 3 points away. It's 5 points away, actually, which means you would short here. And then your TP is about right here, actually, for 47 points. Now, you have a 35 point stop, but yet you are in drawdown about 18 points. Once you get half R, remember that's the first one, you can move to break even at half R, which means you would move to break even maybe from anywhere about 15 to 20 points. It does look like it came back to the entry, so you would have got break even there if you had moved it 0.5 R. But if you're doing something like 35 points, which is 1 R, about right here, you could have locked in the profit in case this low didn't hit, which was a TP. For 35 points, you either can lock in something or move to break even, right? Because you're getting 1R, you're getting 1-to-1 risk to reward, which means you can even profit on a losing trade if it can get to at least 1R. Okay, so moving to break even or locking in profits definitely helps. Of course, this one actually did end up hitting TP, but truly speaking, it could have reversed off of here because, this is a bullish order block, right? That's actually why we couldn't stay beneath the TP. We have a bullish order block, it came back up before it went back down. You could have locked in the profits before it fully reverses on you. It's very helpful to do that, or even just moving to break even itself. Okay, so that would be tip number 2. Tip number 3, okay, moving to break even or locking in profits from however much drawdown you took. What do I mean by that? What this means, say you shorted here and you're in drawdown 19 points. You can move to break even at 19 points because that's how much you're in drawdown. Of course, that also kind of goes hand in hand with the 0.5R thing because it's basically, it's 15 to 20 points. In this case, you were in drawdown 19 points. You could have moved to break even at 19 points as well, even though your target is still 47. Okay, just because you're trying to lock in however much you're in drawdown at that point. You could do that as well. Okay, I feel like that's a pretty simple one to explain. Moving on to tip number 4. This will be trailing your stop loss in profit once you get to 50 points or whatever set number of points you're happy with. But there are certain times where TnS will have like a crazy high take profit. And it's like a pretty big number. For example, like this. This high is the highest high that overlaps with the FVG, which means this would be the highest entry for TnS, both versions. If you longed here, this candle actually tapped the FVG for the very first time. You look to the left, there is no higher high, therefore you target the candle itself. That's a 90-point take profit, okay? You can lock in profit not only at 1 to 2R, not only at half risk to reward because you're risking 35 points, but you have every right to lock in profit at whatever number that you're happy with before you get to 90 because some people have consistency rules within their prop firms, right? Some of you can't even hold trades for 90 points because it won't even let you because you go over the consistency rule and then you just have to make more money. In the long run, it's going to be, a headache. You can lock in or you can scale out most of the trade at 70 points, 60 points, whatever the case may be, even just 2R as a whole number, 70 points, right? 2R, you can lock that in or scale most right there and then still go for this with your runners or just get fully out here and then not even worry about it. Maybe, we wouldn't even hit this, right? You can do that as well. And so the last tip that I have for the no experience required, stopping your trading after 2 winning plays. The reason why is because if you caught 2 winning plays, chances are there's probably going to be losses in between after you already taken those winning plays. So even if you kept trading after winning 2 plays, chances are you're probably going to lose a little bit of that money and then you're going to win maybe later in the day, but chances are you may lose some of the profits. You're better off simply just stopping after taking 2 wins for TnS because the average is 4 anyways. If you got 2, the odds are definitely in your favor. You might as well stop while you're ahead. And that's once again with no trading experience required. That's just going off the pure statistics of TnS. This would be the section where some trading experience would be required for you. So we have tip number 6, trailing your stop loss after an internal 1-minute high or low has been taken. An example of this, let's just go to something like this. Even on loss, say you shorted this one. Once again, this play did end up losing. The entry, you short there, you were in about 20 points, 26 points of drawdown or something like that. And say you're on something like the 1 minute at this time. Let's back up to about right here on the 1 minute. On the 1 minute, if you're trading, you would say that, okay, this right here is an ITL. You'd want to see us close through that ITL. That is actually liquidity that you can actually trail your stop at. Now, in this example, it's basically right near your entry. So it's kind of not too ideal in this exact scenario. But the idea is that you can actually start scaling or even lock in profits at the 1 minute internal liquidity levels. In this case, I'm using just ITLs, but you can also use just regular lows on the 1 minute or just any lows that you see. You can actually trail your stop or even lock in profits at these 1 minute internal levels. Say your TnS TP would be this low. That's a bunch of 1 minute lows before that, right? These are all levels that you can lock in profits at. So next time you're in a trade for TnS, maybe check the 1 minute and see, are we going to displace through this low? If we do, maybe I'll keep holding. If we can't, maybe I'll trail my stop just a little bit above this high just in case we wick back through it. or whatever the case may be, but you're locking in some profit here or moving to break even once we sweep some of these levels. Okay, and once again, this does require a bit of trading experience once again. Moving on to the next one. Tip number 7, take profit or TPing at standard deviation levels instead of TnS TPs. For example, let's go back to that big winning trade. Say you do long at this FEG, right? Your TnS TP is here. Okay. But as we get this candle close, yes, it does technically hit the TP in this example. Some examples, we get the standard deviation before that. But truly, this 5-minute is a manipulation leg, right? You can actually choose the TP at -2 or whatever level that you choose instead of using the TNS TP here. Say you're fully confident in the TNS working for the entry, but you're like 90 points, that's a little too little. I believe that you were going to get a massive move off a 5-minute leg. You can try to target -2. In this case, it would be 200 points. Or if you get your entry from TNS, you can go on the 1-minute. So once again, you can go to the 1-minute and use the standard deviation from the 1-minute, which is basically just the same thing as using the 1-minute internal levels. As you can see, this would be the 1-minute high. Basically the same thing, but it still can help you out if you want to target bigger or even smaller targets, because once again, it's just this example where the manipulation leg basically is at the TP. Moving on to our final tip, trailing your stop and profit after the TNS TP has been hit. And that kind of goes hand in hand with what I just said. Say you are trying to target, higher. Of course, for this, you would have to target higher than the original entry. Say we're moving up like this, but you don't know where to TP, or you don't even know what to do with your profits, right? You can trail your stop and profit anywhere. Either, right at where the original TP was for like 90 points. That way you just have it locked in case we dip back down at any moment. Or you can simply just trail your stop as we keep going up to what could be an ITL, any internal levels. But bottom line, you can trail your stop loss after the original TNS TP has been hit as well to catch pretty big trades or to just lock in more profits than normal. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this class, guys. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.